Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on the life divine with our beloved Ranga. We are now in the chapter Supermind, Mind, and Overmind Maya on page 297, beginning with the sentence, "In this simultaneous development of multitudinous, independent, or combined powers." And you have read it, we have read it last week.
So we'll go through each sentence.
We just comment on each sentence.
Okay. The chapter is Supermind, Mind and the Overmind Maya. So, he has described in the previous paragraph, he has described what the overmind consciousness is and how it contrasts with the normal human mind. Okay, the normal human mind sees multiplicity. It is not synthetic. Its view is analytical. It breaks up parts to understand the whole. It's an artificial way of understanding because it cannot see the whole at the same time. But in the overmind consciousness, it sees the whole as well as the parts together. So that's a simultaneous development. That's what he's talking about. So, I read the first sentence. In this simultaneous development of multitudinous, independent and combined powers or potentials, there is as yet no chaos, no conflict, no fall from truth or knowledge. So, what he's saying is, at the overmind level, although the multiplicity is there is no clash, there is no disharmony. They are all complementary aspects of each other. It's like a group of people who all have different opinions, but they're not fighting. They're very friendly with each other and they're saying, I understand what you're saying, but my view is this.
So when one says that there is still duality in the overmind, is that correct?
Pardon?
There is still duality in the overmind.
Yes, because overmind is the plane where multiplicity starts, not only duality, but multiplicity. That is the one that starts making the many. And that is why Sri Aurobindo calls it a plane of ignorance. It is still ignorance. Ignorance at a very low level, but still it is ignorance. Yes, absolutely. And that is the reason why in the overmind you have these 100,000 million gods. So there you are, the multiplicity is there. And the gods are personal representatives of every possibility in the physical world. Okay, so very clearly, not only duality, but the multiplicity. And each one is given the right to express itself fully at the lowest level where they come into conflict with other opinions and other truths. So that which is at the highest level, they are different, but they are quite harmonious with each other.
So truth and falsehood.
Yes, truth and falsehood, generosity and miserliness, okay, light and shade, okay. So all the different philosophies, personality and impersonality, the one and the many, saguna, nirguna, all the principles are there together, but perfectly in harmony with each other. You may wonder how opposite opinions can be harmonious. Go back to the image of the orchestra. So there is perfect harmony, although 100 instruments are all playing the different notes and different scales and different sounds. But there is no disharmony at all, a perfect harmony. That's the overmind. And when it starts, and in the overmind, each one is told, you have the full right to develop yourself. You are a seed form, develop yourself fully and make it a practical truth in the physical world. And therefore in the physical world, dualities come into clash. Clear?
Clear.
So, this is what he's saying. In this simultaneous development of multitudinous independent or combined powers or potentials, there is as yet. Why? Because as soon as it comes down from the overmind level, the chaos starts. the disharmony starts. Okay? No chaos, no conflict, no fall from truth or knowledge. The overmind is a creator of truths, not of illusions or falsehoods. So then the question arises, which is the plane which creates illusions? The higher mind or higher mind, illumined mind. In those planes of consciousness, you see the world as illusion. But when you go to the overmind level, you see that the illusions are not there. But still there is a difference between spirit and matter. There is a dichotomy. The dichotomy is not solved. They are harmonious with each other, but they are different.
So, would this not say that Buddha, Shankara, did not reach the overmind because they considered everything illusion?
They may have reached the overmind in glimpses. And Shankara, definitely he could have reached the overmind because he does speak of spirit and matter being both real. See, there is a threefold gradation as I told you. Buddha rejects the physical, not Buddha, Buddhism.
Buddhism, yes.
Not Buddha. Buddha refused to discuss philosophy. He said, you will get confused. Don't. Because these are all truths beyond the mind. So, don't discuss non-mental philosophies with mind. You will be confused. So, he refused to speak philosophy. Only practical truths. So, Buddhism says the world is illusion and false. Shankara says the world is not illusion and not false. But yet, there is a distinction between spirit and matter. They may be perfectly harmonious with each other at a certain level, but they are different. They are not one and the same thing. Go to the supramental level, that's what Swami says, why didn't you go one more step? In the Life Divine, he said that as earlier. We have maybe forgotten, but he says that. So, Buddhism also is a Vedic religion. He refuses to consider it a non-Vedic religion, whereas it is classed as a non-Vedic religion. Okay, so these are the three steps. So I go to the next sentence. The overmind is a creator of truths, not of illusions or falsehoods. What is worked out in any given overmental energism or movement is a truth of the aspect, power, idea, force, delight, which is liberated into independent action, the truth of the consequences of its reality in that independence. Okay, let's have a look at the sentence. The overmind is a creator of truths. So if you are at the overmental level, the world is not an illusion for you, it is real. But it is separate. It is not the divine. It is real but not the divine. There is a divine and there is a world. They are different from each other. Like if you want two friends, they are quite different and yet they are friendly with each other. In a way of speaking. Okay, so this simultaneous, the overmind is a creator of truths, not of illusions or falsehoods. What is worked out in any given overmental energism. Now that word, I think last time we were discussing.
Yes, we did, yes.
Yeah, there is the vast sea of energy and each wave is an energism. So, it is one aspect of, like, there is a vast field of matter and each body of yours, each body of mine is a piece of matter. So exactly the relation would be the same between energy and energism. So this vast energy is there, it creates energisms. It goes into this and creates this. It goes into that and creates that. It goes into this and different forms of energy. We have discussed that earlier.
Yes.
There is nuclear energy, there is muscular energy, there is chemical energy, there is mechanical energy, there is thermal energy, all different types. So these are the energisms. Okay? So he's saying, the overmind is a creator of truths, not of illusions or falsehoods. What is worked out in any given overmental energism, let us take any one idea, okay? Energism or movement is a truth of the aspect, power, idea, force, delight, which is liberated into independent action. So, in other words, that one energism it is liberated. You have the right to express yourself fully. That's what it says. You spoke of truth and falsehood. Okay, so truth also has the right to express itself fully in the physical world. Falsehood also has the right to work itself out fully in the universe.
To work itself out.
Pardon?
You say to work itself out.
Yes. You are in seed form, work out. Go into every aspect of your principle. That's what it says. Okay? So, and what is that principle? It could be an aspect, it could be power, it could be idea, it could be force, it could be ananda. Even ananda has got many forms of ananda. There is vital ananda, there is mental ananda, there is physical ananda. There are different types of anandas also. Okay? So, liberated into independent action. Note the word independent. Truth and falsehood become independent of each other and work themselves out fully. Okay? So, the truth of the consequence of its reality in that independence. The truth of the consequence of that reality in that the independence is in the physical world, that independence is worked out fully in the physical world. There is no exclusiveness asserting each as the sole truth of being or the others as inferior truths. He is talking of the overmind. In the overmind, they are allowed to do that, but there is yet no chaos in the overmind. There is no exclusiveness. Okay? Asserting each as the sole truth of being or the others as inferior truths. Each God knows all the gods and their place in existence. Each idea admits all other ideas and their right to be. We'll discuss this in detail. Each force concedes a place to all other forces and their truths and consequences. No delight of separate fulfilled existence or separate experience denies or condemns the delight of other existence or other experience. He has gone into great detail, but every time the differences are there. I accept your difference and yet we are different. You can have your opinion, I can have, I'm speaking of opinion, but there it is. Truth is telling the seed of falsehood, you have the right to express yourself as you want.
But it is harmonious.
Yeah, it is harmonious, that's why. And why is it harmonious? Because it is the one thing which is going to express itself in different ways. It's the same thing. Light and darkness are not different. Darkness is light which has reduced itself. Say, let's take a 1000-watt bulb. When it becomes a 500-watt bulb, it is still light. It is lesser, but it is light. When it becomes a 100-watt bulb, it is still light. When it becomes a 50-watt bulb, it is still light. When it becomes a 0-watt bulb, it is still light. And when it becomes minus, that means even that 0-watt is gone. Night lamp is not there. Darkness also is a form of light. It's the absence of light. So that is why they are perfectly harmonious with each other. Overmind consciousness sees this. At the lower level, we say, no. Darkness and light are opposites. But it is not so at the overmind level. We are talking of overmind, but when you go to the supermind, they really become one. They are not two. But in the overmind, they are two. As you said, duality, but as you said, multiplicity. And each one is harmonious with each other. Okay? So each one does not deny or condemns the delight of other existence or other experience. That is the reason why when Sri Aurobindo had the overmind realization in November 24th, 1926, he said that all religions are aspects of truth. All philosophies are aspects of truth. Each one has got a truth of its own. It's not wrong, but it is one-sided. It is working itself too exclusively in the physical world. Okay? So now he says, the overmind is a principle of cosmic truth, and a vast and endless Catholicity is its very spirit. The Catholicity word is wide-mindedness, inclusiveness, no differences. Okay? So, nothing to do with the religion. Its energy is an all dynamism as well as a principle of separate dynamisms. There you are. So, all dynamism, energy. Principle of separate dynamism, energism. Okay? So,
It's a sort of inferior supermind.
yeah. It's a sort of inferior supermind, although it is concerned predominantly not with absolutes, but with what might be called dynamic potentials and pragmatic truths of reality, or with absolutes mainly for their power of generating pragmatic and creative values. Although, too, its comprehension of things is more global than integral. We'll discuss that global and then integral. Since its totality is built up of global wholes or constituted by separate independent realities, uniting and coalescing together, and although the essential unity is grasped by it and felt to be the basic of things, not basis, he's saying basic of things, and pervasive in their manifestation, but no longer as in the supermind, their intimate and ever-present secret, their dominating continent, the overt constant builder of the harmonic whole of their activity and nature. Huge sentence. We'll have to break it up into phrases. So, we were there at the overmind is a principle of cosmic truth. Okay? Cosmic truth. It is still cosmic. At the supramental level, it is transcendent as well as cosmic as well as individual in the supermind. But here it is a principle of cosmic truth. And a vast and endless Catholicity is its very spirit. Its energy is an all dynamism as well as a principle of separate dynamisms. So what does that imply? It means that the one allows all the other forms to exist, and all the other forms are the multiplicity. Okay, the many. Supermind is the one, the overmind is the beginning of the many. Okay? Yeah, so that's what he's saying. Is an energy, is an all dynamism as well as a principle of separate dynamisms. It's a sort of inferior supermind. Inferior supermind. It has got the quality of harmony, but it's also got it has lost the idea of total oneness. It has lost that idea, but it still retains the idea of harmony. As it keeps coming down into the intuitive mind, element mind, that harmony also slowly gets lost until finally at our level, completely gone. So, principle of separation is a sort of inferior harmony, although it is concerned predominantly not with absolutes, but with what might be called dynamic potentials or pragmatic truths of reality. Now, dynamic potentials. Okay? In the supermind, you have only absolutes. No trace of, you see the possibilities, but basically it's a consciousness of oneness. But here, dynamic
Potentials, yes.
The energy can express itself in various energisms. Dynamic potential. But dynamic means it can become a reality. But it is still potential. It's not the actual thing. They are also almost oxymoron.
Yes.
Okay. So it is dynamic, yet it's potential. Pragmatic truths. Okay. Pragmatic means in the physical world, it is the beginning of the pragmatic truths of reality, or with absolutes, mainly for their power of generating pragmatic or creative values. He's going into great detail. He's saying that even if it has got absolutes, you see it more as this absolute has a capacity to manifest itself. In that sense he's talking. Okay? Create pragmatic and creative values. Although too, its comprehension of things is more global than integral. Now,
Interesting.
Global than integral. Okay. An idea has come to me, I am telling you. Okay. Take an astronaut. Okay. He is at his home and he knows at 12 o'clock he has to go into the space station. Okay. What's he seeing? He is in his home, he is having breakfast, he sees his children, his wife, his tables, chairs, TV sets, everything he sees. Multiplicity. He comes out into the street, he sits in his car and goes. Okay. He goes to the aerodrome and sits in the rocket and starts going up. As he keeps going up, what does he see? After a sudden, he doesn't see his street. He sees the whole town. If he goes up even more, he sees the whole district. He goes up into the space station, he is seeing the globe, entire globe. He is not seeing the street, he is not seeing the houses. He is seeing global, his vision becomes global. Okay? So,
very good.
but not integral. Rather, integral means you must have a view of the globality and also the many. That would be integral. Integral means inclusive of everything. So you should be able to see the one and the many, the whole and the parts. Right? So, global than integral. Since its totality is built up of global wholes or constituted by separate independent realities, uniting and coalescing together, and although the essential unity is grasped by it and felt to be the basic of things and pervasive in their manifestation, but no longer as in the supermind, their intimate and ever-present secret, their dominating continent, the overt constant builder of the harmonic whole of the activity of nature. So in the overmind, there is a sense of the oneness. See, he's saying, although the essential reality is grasped by it and felt, not experienced, and felt to be basic of things.
Yes.
It's not experienced. But in the overmind, it is integral. That's what he's pointing out, the difference between the two. Okay? And pervasive in their manifestation, but no longer as in the supermind, their intimate and ever-present secret.
You have to help us with that secret.
Pardon?
Help us with that secret.
Yeah.
Ever-present secret.
Okay. Because it sees the oneness, but the many are secret, na? Like the seed. The tree is secret in the seed. You could see it in that way. So their dominating continent, it contains everything. The overt, constant builder of the harmonic whole of their activity and nature. So this is the nature of the overmind. The overmind is a plane where the many start becoming, have the potential to become realities in the physical world. So all the dualities that you see here are all starting there. And, or we can put it in another way, in the supermind, there are the real ideas. Remember what he calls the real idea. The real idea is, if you want to compare it in the physical world, it's the blueprint, the plan with which you are going to start building a house. Okay? So it is not yet the house, but it's a plan. That's a real idea. Then, when it comes down into the overmind, it becomes potential. So long as it's only a blueprint, it doesn't have the potential. But now you start gathering materials and power and everything, it becomes now much more possible to become a reality.
So supermind has to manifest through the overmind?
Yes. It has to do that. And the Satchidananda has to manifest through the supermind.
Right.
That is the reason why it is said that the divine never acts directly in the physical world. He acts through his deputy. Okay, it's like the Prakriti. It is nature which is acting in the physical world, not God. Consciousness is not acting in the physical world. Consciousness asks its force, act in the physical world with my permission.
What about Mother? What about Mother?
What about?
acting in the world. The Divine Mother.
Oh, Divine Mother. The Divine Mother only becomes the inconscient mother here. The Apara Prakriti. The Divine Mother is divine only at the highest level.
But
Our mother,
yes.
mother is a manifestation of the Supreme in the physical world. She is a manifestation. She is hardly unconscious.
Exactly.
She is the representative of, she has a body, she has a vital, she has a mind. So she is Prakriti, but with the Para Prakriti, the higher Prakriti manifested in her. Okay? This is what he's saying. So, this is the nature of the overmind as distinguished from the supermind and the lower planes. If we would understand the difference of this global overmind consciousness from our separative and only imperfectly synthetic mental consciousness, we may come near to it if we compare the strictly mental with what would be an over-mental view of activities in our material universe. To the overmind, for example, all religions would be true as developments of one eternal religion. All philosophies would be valid, each in its own field, as a statement of its own universe view, from its own angle. All political theories with their practice would be the legitimate working out of an idea force with its right to application and practical development in the play of the energies of nature. This is exactly what he said earlier, and I was giving examples. He says when you go to the overmind level, you see that all religions have a truth. And they are perfectly harmonious, consistent with each other. They may be different, but they are consistent with each other. The differences arise when they manifest in the physical world. Okay? So, then he is talking also of philosophies. Philosophies in the West, but in India we have basically three philosophies. The Advaita philosophy, which says that the ultimate reality is one. Then there is the another philosophy which says the ultimate reality is two. Consciousness and force. They are separate. They act together but they are separate. Or you can also see in this way that the human soul can have a relation with the divine soul, but it is different. Which is also the Christian view. Okay? So, this is the opposite view. But there is a view which combines these two, and that is that Vishishta Advaita, special Advaita. Special Advaita means that also is true, this also is true. This was enunciated by Ramanujam, 500 AD, about 400, 500 AD. His body is still preserved under layers and layers of chunam in the city of Srirangam on this side coast of the Kaveri river. On the other side is Trichy, Tiruchirappalli, and this side is Srirangam. You can still go there, and it's a very well frequented temple. So Ramanujan's body is supposed to be still preserved under that layers and layers of chunam. In India, chunam is is a preservative. The lime. So they use that they have covered his body. Okay, so that's what Swami is saying. All philosophy is valid in its own field as a statement of its universal view from its own angle. All political theories with their practice would be the legitimate working out of an idea force with its right to application and practical development. There you are, again he's stressing the same thing. Each principle has the full right to express itself and develop itself fully. That's why religion breaks up into so many religions. Philosophies break up into so many philosophies. He is talking of even political theories. Okay? So, you have, of course, nowadays democracy is being bandied about as the best form, but it's got plenty of all its own defects. But there is democracy, there is monarchy, there is dictatorship, there is oligarchy, there is aristocracy, there is plutocracy. There are so many different types of governance. All are different from each other, but if you see from the overmind level, you say that, oh, yes, it is understandable. They are quite harmonious with each other. Okay, so political theories with their practice would be a legitimate working out of the idea force with its right to application and practical development. Each one has got the right to become a reality in the physical world, in the play of the energies of nature. Now, that's a overmind consciousness. Now, what happens in our consciousness? Separative consciousness. When he's talking of separative consciousness, he's talking of the human mind with its limitations, and it sees multiplicity. Not the human mind, not the human consciousness which sees oneness at the higher mind level. We are seeing multiplicity. We are seeing the many and thinking that they are true. Okay? So, where's it gone? In our separative consciousness, imperfectly visited by glimpses of Catholicity and universality, these things exist as opposites. So, although our human mind, if it strains a little bit, it can say, yes, I understand the truth of that. I understand the truth of, but it's not a real experience. It's only a mental development. Okay? Or sometimes he says that it can be visited by glimpses of Catholicity and universality. That means you can have an experience. Even in the mind, sometimes you get an illumination. Oh, there's no basic difference. Okay? So, that's what he's saying. These things exist as opposites in the physical world. Each claims to be the truth and taxes the others with error and falsehood. Each feels impelled to refute or destroy the others in order that itself alone may be the truth and live. Now, you can see the truth of what he's saying here. Destroy the other. The clash between Christianity and Islam in Europe. In France, they go to the extent of actually beheading the fellow who... 2 incidents of beheading in France. Okay, so look at the word what Swami is using. These things exist as opposites. Each claims to be the truth and taxes the others with error and falsehood. Each feels impelled to refute and destroy the others in order that itself may alone be the truth and live. Very clear. You can see also that this is also what Islam and Christianity. Islam does it violently. Either you accept the Quran or we cut off your head. Okay, that was how it spread. In Christianity, is subtler. Okay, Christianity is superior to any other religion. You better convert. So it's by proselytizing, by spreading their ideas, and there also there is resistance. Okay, in India, in many states, we are introducing anti-conversion laws. We don't want to be converted. So it's a very complex question. So, in order that may be truth and live. At best, each must claim to be superior, admit all others only as inferior truth expressions. Even when you say that, okay, I accept you, but we are superior to you. That's what
Yes.
So, would you say that about India? I don't think it can be accurately said that we are superior to you, because in India you allow all the religions to exist as co-brothers if you want. Sikhism, Jainism, okay, Buddhism. Even the materialist is given his due. Okay, so there are so many religions, other religions also. Shaivism, Vaishnavism. But there is no basic clash until the British came and divided the nation into Muslim and Hindu. There is a quite harmonious, you are allowed each path to the divine. The paths to the divine are not one or two, they are infinite. So you can approach from any point of view. I may have a difference of opinion, but you are free to do your own religion. But here, Swami is also introducing, sometimes they would feel, for instance in Shaivism and Vaishnavism, each one feels that they are superior to the other. Jnana Yoga feels that it is superior to Karma Yoga. There is a sense of feeling. So that exists. But it is largely absent. Okay? It would drift to exclusive harmony. It would allow all to live as necessary to the whole, or put itself in its place in the whole, or assign to it its field of realization or endeavor. This is because in us, consciousness has come down completely into the divisions of the ignorance. This is the truth which is there as white light. It comes to the overmind and the supermind level of consciousness, and like a prism breaks up into so many colors. And each color becomes a dominant trait in the physical world. Okay? So, this is because in us, consciousness has come down completely into the divisions of the ignorance. Divisions of the ignorance, seeing the many. You can put it that way. So long as you see the many and not the unity, you are in ignorance. That's a definition of ignorance. Okay? You are not seeing the unity. But a rigid affirmation, holding any other affirmation to be false, because different from itself and entrenched in other limits. Our mental consciousness can indeed arrive in its cognition at a considerable approach towards a total comprehensiveness and Catholicity, but to organize that in action and life seems to be beyond its power. Very clear sentence.
Yes.
We should all be harmonious with each other, but can we achieve that No, we can't. We don't have the power to do that. But the overmind has the power to do that. Okay, so. Evolutionary mind, manifest in individuals or collectivities, throws up a multiplicity of divergent viewpoints, divergent lines of action, and lets them work themselves out side by side, or in collision, or in a certain intermixture. So, all these opposites that are there, the many, they are either working with themselves in collision or intermixture. If you remember, in the overmind consciousness, the gods are often working independently or in cooperation with others, or are in conflict with others separately. Mm-hmm. That's what he's saying here. In the physical world, that also can happen. Okay? So I read that sentence again.
But evolution. We see it very evidently in the physical world.
Yes.
We see it every day.
Yes, that's right. Even if I'm very wide-minded, I say, yes, we should live in harmony. But can it be done? It can't be done so easily. The power is not there.
There is a flower, that hydrangea, that Mother has named collective harmony. She said is only possible for the divine.
There you are. That's right. So
if we reach the divine in our sadhana, then it becomes possible.
Yes. For you. But what about the others who are not in that consciousness?
What about the collective? That's what I was going to say.
Exactly. That is the reason why Auroville and ashram have been created. To see whether a collective raising of consciousness to a certain level is possible. Then there can be harmony. Neither in Auroville nor in ashram is there perfect harmony. But there is an acceptance that, okay, you have a different view, I have a different view. We have a working relationship. As Srimanta uses in another place, disorderly order. There is an apparent order, but it's disorderly. In fact, that difference of opinion has become very prominent now in Auroville.
Very strong.
But it has to get solved, it will get solved. Okay, so evolutionary mind, manifest in individuals or collectivities, throws up a multiplicity of divergent viewpoints, divergent lines of action, and lets them work themselves out side by side. Okay? Side by side, together, relatively harmonious, or in collision, or in a certain intermixture. So, look at the intermixture in England, okay, politically. You have a monarchy and you have a democracy at the same time. Intermixture. A good example of a political thing with intermixture. Monarchy is there and democracy also is there. So, intermixture. In fact, that's what happens. We can also say that the Vishishta Advaita is an intermixture of Advaita and Bheda Bheda, Dvaita. It's in between, it combines the two, intermixture. This also is true, that also is true. Partly. Okay? So, but it cannot arrive at the harmonic control of a true totality. Conscious mind must have, even in the evolutionary ignorance, like all totalities, such a harmony, if only of arranged accords and discords. Okay? So, arranged, that means you agree to have a certain harmony, but it's not the spiritual harmony. It's an arranged harmony. In fact, this is what Swamdar says about the French Revolution. Égalité, fraternité, liberté. Fraternité cannot be achieved at the physical level unless you go to a spiritual level. There, fraternity is possible, but not otherwise. That's what he's saying, the same thing here in different words. Okay?
But he says it's related to cosmic mind.
Yeah.
Must even have in this ignorance.
Cosmic mind must have, even in its evolutionary ignorance, like all totalities, such a harmony. It should have. If only of arranged accords and discords. There is too in it an underlying dynamism of oneness. So, that oneness is there even in the physical world. But we don't see it. It is there. A good example is your body, my body, everybody's body is matter. The oneness is there, but we don't see it that way. Okay? There is too in it an underlying dynamism of oneness. But it carries the completeness of these things in its depths, perhaps in a supermind-overmind substratum, but does not impart it to individual mind in the evolution, does not bring it or has not yet brought it from the depths to the surface. Now look at the last one. Or has not yet brought it from the depths to the surface. It's possible to do that. And Mother has planted the first seed of the harmony. Okay, it has not yet been done. He wrote this 100 years ago. Does not bring it or has not yet brought it from the depths to the surface. An overmind world would be a world of harmony. The world of ignorance in which we live is a world of disharmony and struggle. Very clear distinction between the overmind and the normal mind. And still, we can recognize at once in the overmind the original cosmic Maya. Not a Maya of ignorance, but a Maya of knowledge. Yet a power which has made the ignorance possible, even inevitable. We'll discuss that. For if each principle loosed into action must follow its independent line and carry out its complete consequences, the principle of separation must be allowed its complete course and arrive at its absolute consequence. This is the inevitable descent. Facilis descensus, or whatever it is. It's I suppose, a Latin phrase. Easy descent, you can say in that way. Once the descent has been made, it becomes very easy to fall to the lowest level. It's like a very fast flowing river, very fast. If you put your one leg in it, you're likely to get pushed away. So that's what he's saying. Facilis descensus, okay? Easy to fall. Which consciousness, once it admits the separative principle, follows till it enters by obscuring infinitesimal fragmentation tuchchena into the material inconscience, the inconscient ocean of the Rig Veda. And if the one is born from that by its own greatness, it is still at first concealed by a fragmentary, separative existence and consciousness which is ours, and in which we have to piece things together to arrive at a whole. In that slow and difficult emergence, a certain semblance of truth is given to the dictum of Heraclitus that war is the father of all things. For each idea, force, separate consciousness, living being, by the very necessity of its ignorance, enters into collision with others and tries to live and grow and fulfill itself by independent self assertion, not by harmony with the rest of existence. Yet, there is still the unknown underlying oneness which compels us to strive slowly towards some form of harmony, of interdependence, of concording, of discords, of a difficult unity. But it is only by the evolution in us of the concealed superconscient powers of cosmic truth and of the reality in which they are one that the harmony and unity we strive for can be dynamically realized in the very fiber of our being and all its self expression, and not merely in imperfect attempts, incomplete constructions, ever changing approximations. The higher ranges of spiritual mind have to open upon our being and consciousness, and also that which is beyond even the spiritual mind. That which is beyond even the spiritual mind must appear in us if we are to fulfill the divine possibility of our birth into cosmic existence.
Namaste all, and thank you. Thank you, Ranga.